My name is Johannes Jutting. I'm the executive head of PARIS21. Basically, it's a partnership that has been created some odd 20 years ago to help monitoring the success of the Millennium Development Goal, the predecessor of the Sustainable Development Goals. And PARIS21 supports low-income countries, so to say, developing countries, in strengthening their statistical capacities. I think there are two angles of when we started this work on climate change data. I think the first angle is that countries, of course, our partners are national statistical offices, mainly national statistical offices. And of course, they are requested to produce data that is relevant for addressing climate change. And so the countries were asking, but also increasingly, we had the feeling that our development partners were also interested to get some thinking and some ideas of how we can build a data ecosystem where we look at different actors that produce and use climate change data, the regulation, the funding. And here, PARIS21, as we have this unique selling point of being an institution that is sort of looks at different areas at the same time, different policy areas, we felt very comfortable that we could make a useful contribution to this emerging area. Of working with code for this specific project is makes a lot of sense, simply because code's experience in the work of climate change and climate change data, as well as its capacity to be able to summarize and engage in content that is relevant for this project, was very useful. And perhaps even most importantly, code's ability to conduct seminars and workshops and bringing different stakeholders together. So code then helped us to put out a paper which basically described the rationale for developing an effective climate change data ecosystem, the benefits it could bring, and important challenges, principles, and best practices to consider and propose next steps. And this was then the basis for a conversation that we had with different stakeholders, and code was tasked to basically put this together and help us with finding the right people. So this virtual, which at that time, because of the pandemic, was a virtual workshop, was really, really very instrumental for us to define the work area a bit more closer, to bring in different perspective, and code's contribution was really extremely valuable. It was very important to do to find the niche in which we can make a contribution, and code was very helpful in defining that niche. So once we got then sort of funding from the Hewlett Foundation, code was a proper partner with Open Data Watch in executing this project, and code was tasked to specifically develop a climate data for adaptation and resilient typology called DART, which is a very nice typology for governments and their partners to take action for climate adaptation and resilience. PARIS21 is bringing those results to the country level, and I think it was really great to see the different countries we have been involved, be it Senegal, Belize, Grenada, Laos, PDR, and I think through those country work and through those engagement with our partners, we can make a difference. And I once again wanted to thank code for being there from the very much of the beginning, where we didn't know, will it lead to anything? It was a sort of an experimental innovation, and it was, I have to say, I think we can say now quite successful.